Be Frank Network.
Welcome to... Oh, God, shut up. Welcome to a very special closet episode of Happy Never After H&A Pod. I am Mara Merrick. I am in my own closet. It's the best sound quality in the house. So I'm out here in Texas, scorching away, and I'm joined by Sergio Chicone of what Marshall wants to call the Chicone Show, but it's still called Dirtbag Shit DBS Podcast.
Yes. It's so good to see you with your name tag looking like a herb. Who has name tags? You mad corporate.
I know. And everybody, all the trainers, we all have OCD, and sometimes I just wear it like diagonal.
Trainers or sales associates at Foot Locker? We all know. You're just the manager. That's why you wear all black. Yo.
Dude, look at. I'm sorry. What is this? I'm sorry. What is that? Is that the Cowboys logo?
Congratulations on a new gig. Exciting
Stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
I know. I've said some really dumb things to some
Wait,
players.
at work? You said some really dumb things? The type of dumb things that you'll think about 10 years from now and mouth it out to yourself in the mirror in the bathroom?
My first day I was walking around and I went to go like put whites away and stuff. And I passed by a player, huge dude, 6'8" probably, was doing the ropes, was going up on the ropes for time. And I go, working on your biceps?
Why would you do that? What would possess you?
I don't know.
You got nervous. You were attracted to him.
I know. I had a super hot boss for like 2 days, and then he got fired. I was like, thank you. There is a Jesus, and he's keeping me
fired 2 days after you were trying to hit.
I walked in and I said I was very awkward with him also. I was like, he goes, oh yeah, Blair's here. He's your boss. And I was like, oh my God, great. And I walked over and he turned around from the massage table and I was like, oh, hi, I'm Mara. And then I just walked out. I was like, I'll see you on my first day. Bye. He
was that good looking that it was jarring.
Yes.
Yeah. I had a situation like that 5 years ago when I used to work at the Monterey. There was a guest who used to come in, and the dude was beautiful, and I got uncomfortable around him. He had chiseled face features, really high cheekbones, and he just looked like a goddess, and he was so fucking like perfect that it made me nervous. And I'm not gay. I just don't think I am, but that was a very gay moment. I got nervous. I couldn't give him eye contact.
He
was super friendly too.
I should have taken more time and like done more things out in public before I started work, but I went right from New York work to here work, and I haven't gotten the New York out of me yet because I just was like, this girl told me that her husband moved her there from Turkey. She's talking to me and she was like, and then he divorced her right away. And I go, listen, you got beautiful eyeballs. I go, look at those deep blue eyeballs, and you got a great wreck. All right. That's all they look at. Tits and eyeballs.
Is she Turkish?
Yes.
With blue eyes? I always picture them with dark eyes.
This woman is stunning. I was like,
actually no. I do know Turkish people. A Turkish woman with light eyes. They are very good looking people. Intense.
Yeah, very. And she goes, "What does rack mean?" I go, tits. Your jugs. I was like, I'm gonna get myself fired in the first 30 seconds of being here.
Fuck, I love it.
I know, it's been great.
Way to warm up your way into the mix. So her husband left her like that? Talk about happily never after.
So here's what he did. This is DBS.
He did her a favor.
He did. But he moved her from Turkey 6 months after they got here, divorced her, separated, took all the money, yep. Then he immediately took her to court and said that she was a flight risk back to Turkey. So he got all the passports taken away, all the kids and hers. So she's trapped here. Isn't that insane?
That is super scary.
Yeah, I talked to her for like 10 seconds and she was crying immediately because I can't stop interviewing people. And I'm like, oh my God, what a fuck. And then what happened?
And that's the type of thing that you need time to listen to that. You were probably like, well, I gotta go back to work.
I know. I was like,
How much time did you give her?
I gave her I gave her an hour and a half.
Oh, that's a long time.
Dude, that was a long time. I'm becoming more generous with my time out here. Yeah. I gave her an hour and a half.
Yeah, because you go into something like that, it's hard to segue.
Yeah, I couldn't. There was no out. No, there was no out in that one. I also almost beat up like a 60-year-old woman yesterday in a parking lot.
How did this come about?
I live in a very bougie neighborhood, right? And the shopping center that's next door is bougie as fuck. Like it's got the Neiman's, the Bloomies. It's called Legacy West and East. And during the day, there you can find parking directly in front of the stores. There were 3 parking spaces right in a row, all open. We were driving. We saw the parking spaces. She was in a Jeep, and she parked across the handicap spots, but was still in her car, just had her foot on the brakes. And so we pulled into the spot. She has no turn signal on, and she goes, I wanted that spot. But there are 2 other spots open right next to it. And so she's throwing a fit, and then he backs up, and I go, no, you take that spot. I was like, I go, you get in that spot. There are 2, she can go into one of those 2 spots. She ain't got no turn signal on.
So your boyfriend is rational and willing to just let that shit roll off her shoulders. You want to get all Bronx Mara, put your hair in a bun, Vaseline on your face, turn your tag inside out, and fight in a parking lot. And possibly lose the earbud. And a physical altercation with a Texas woman.
I had my Bluetooth wrapped around my neck. It was secured. So she pulls into the spot. We have an open spot in between us, and Dave goes, fighter. And I go, oh, I am. So I got out and I like danced in the spot and would not lose eye contact. I was like, is this spot not good enough? Is this spot not good enough?
What is wrong with you? Why would you behave this way? It's a new life for you, a new chapter. And you're behaving like you're on 42nd Street and 8th Avenue McDonald's.
I know. It just
I know. Mara got some hood in her, and I like it. I fucking like it. I actually encourage that behavior from afar for the sake of these stories.
Well, it's a good thing I have it, because today at work, there's this younger guy, this younger trainer, brand new, and he comes in.
A little wet behind the ears, green.
In life and in training. So he is an intern, like he's hanging out. And on our first day where we're going through like all the corporate training stuff together, he is inappropriate. Like he calls me a cougar the first day. And I go, bro, you better be, you're lucky that I'm cool, because you can't do this, especially in Cowboys world. Like you can't, come on now.
Yeah, and, corporate setting, he doesn't know you, but maybe he felt comfortable right with you off the bat. Were you guys joking? Why would he say that? What would inspire that?
I don't know. I wasn't flirting at all.
Yeah, that's super inappropriate. Then he needs to be shut down, smacked up.
Well, it happened today. So then he did that with one of our trainers also while we were training with her. He was like, we had to sit with each trainer for an hour, and he was like, if you ever want to go to coffee, if you want to, and he was doing this. He's like, if you ever, like with his hands sliding, he was like, if you ever
his hands together like a fly
and leaning back, when he was like, if you ever want to go get coffee or anything, and I was like, I go, this is awkward. That's what I said out loud during the thing, because I could tell that she was uncomfortable. Fast forward, he's training someone, a woman, and she calls back and says she never wants to step foot again into the facility because she is uncomfortable with him, and she wants all of her training money back.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So we have to call these people when we, and he asked me, he emailed me, and he's like, hey, can I help? Can you give me the list of people to call? And my other boss was like, you cannot give him that list. Like, we don't know what we're going to do with him. So that I put it in a shitty position, and I'm like, oh, I can't give it to you. Sorry. And so then he came in today, and he was like, just give me the list. Like, he was like, this is the nicest way that I'm going to be telling you to give me that fucking list.
No.
Yeah, but he was squared up with me, like chest to chest, like
Yeah,
full on.
there's something clearly wrong with this guy.
Yeah. So then I just looked up at him and I puffed my chest up and I go, "You better get the fuck away from me."
So. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was his
Crazy.
response to that?
He walked away pretty upset and then came back and apologized for being confrontational. And I said, "Yeah, it's cool. I can roll it off my back." But I don't know, like some people, like it's in there. Like I know that that's how he is, like I don't know if I'll definitely forgive him. He's young, whatever. He's 27 though.
Yeah, so I think we a lot of times we give people in their mid-20s a little too much allowance with saying, "Oh, he's just a kid." No, he's fucking 27. He's a full-grown adult. So fuck that. He shouldn't work in that sort of a fine establishment. He needs to work for a prison yard boutique style gym like Con Body.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ex-inmates, that's more his brand.
Yeah, crazy.
Shout out to Con Body. Have you ever heard of that gym?
No.
Yeah, so I have the story is the person who started this gym, he did 15 years in prison or something for selling drugs. And during his prison stint, he designed a prison style boot camp workout, got out of jail, got a grant, started doing classes in the park, and then started his own gym, and it's Con Body. And it's just like a bunch of Megans and Kellys who like to fucking do burpees. And you go into a fucking cage and you do your workout with some instructor who smokes Newport cigarettes and cocaine residue on his nostrils.
Oh my God. The second gym that I worked at in San Diego, everybody did blow so much. And one of the girls, every morning I was like, "Yo, you gotta, it's right. It's out.
Little coke booger?
Little bugs." And it wasn't little. It was like a full on, like a, icicle just coming on down out of her nose. I was like, whoo.
So today I was in a barber chair getting the beard shaped up nice and crisp, right? Because I'm going away this weekend. And the barber gave me a paper towel. And I was like, holy shit, do I have a booger? He was like, no, it's from my sweat. But I thought it was a booger, And I was like, that's a polite way to do it. Because some people will have you moving around the city with a fucking booger on your nose and they won't tell you. That's not friendly. You have to tell the person you're talking to if there's a booger. You ever told somebody you have a booger and they're like, "Oh shit, thank you." And then they move it somewhere else. Like, "No, you didn't get rid of it. Now it's on your chest." Like, fucking figure this shit out. Right? The sticky ones that they can't get off their fingers, like, okay, deal with that in the bathroom. Or the other ones that are flaky and every time they breathe, it's like a party favor. It's just like...
It's the one that like sticks to the edge of their nose and it peels off like they got a shingle.
Yeah,
like,
come on, man. Get your shit together.
You've had a booger.
Becoming. What was that?
I said, you've had a booger before.
And you didn't tell me about it?
No, I mean, like, you're like, get your shit together. I'm like, I'm sure that you've had it before.
Yeah, I once had 15 poppy seeds in my mouth, and I did 3 classes back to back. And I was wondering, why do all the clients look horrified? They would look at me like this, hitting the bag. And I was like, come on. I was extra animated that morning. I might have done some Adderall. I don't know. But I was extra animated that morning, and I had poppy seeds all in my mouth. And everybody was bugging out. Like they had a weird energy. They were just kind of looking at me and then looking down. I'm 3 classes in, and one of the trainers at the gym looks at me. He goes, yo, look in the mirror, fix your face. You got poppy seeds all in your teeth. I had like 15 poppy seeds. And I yelled at the class. I was like, yo, who does this shit? You gotta let me know these things. You guys are not nice.
Oh God.
I apologize if I told that story. I feel like I told that story to you.
You have told that story before, but it's a good one.
Not bad.
I was trying to like get to know everyone at the gym, and I was like, what's your most embarrassing story? Because why not start with that one? Man, these guys are so fun.
That's part of your workshop. Let's tell the most embarrassing shit about ourselves.
Yeah, they've got
what you fish out.
Oh God, one of the girls that was training, the only other female that is training there, she just had her most embarrassing moment because she was doing a hack squat and she bent over and her whole pants split all along the top and down the middle. And she had her, everyone, no one wears clothes out here. It's all like nothing, and so she had nothing to cover herself up. And I was like, yeah, I did that before. One time my dog ate out the crotch of my pants. I washed them.
Hopefully why you weren't wearing them.
That's between us,
Things are different out here in Texas.
Ate out the crotch of my pants. I washed them, put them on, rode my bike to the gym, proceeded to demonstrate an ab exercise.
No way. You had no idea, you didn't feel it?
No, it was actually
not a breeze.
Nope, nothing. Not nothing. And a client told me he was like, your vagina is all the way out of your pants. And so then I had to run downstairs and put on basketball shorts, like the smallest.
And then your mind quickly rewinds to everyone you made contact with early in that day, right? You're like, oh my God, who the hell? You know what? At that time, it's like you just fucking gotta own it, and that's it.
I know. I wasn't even thinking about like who saw it. I'm sure everyone did, but I was thinking about the used basketball shorts that I had directly touching my vagina. I was like, my vagina is just out there flapping in the wind, touching these used.
Why would it be flapping in the wind? Fucking why? That's a visual. I just picture you like walking and it's flapping against basketball shorts. Why would you do that?
Women's vaginas change during the day, like sometimes it's all the way in like, oh, I'm chilly, and then sometimes it's like, oh, what's going on? But only half of it wants to know, So you'll have one lip out. It's
very much like a penis because the penis changes like sizes and moods. So one time I was staying like at a kind of like a trap house, but there weren't drugs being sold out of it. It was in Philly, Germantown. I was 21 years old, fresh out of a breakup. And I decided I'm going to go to the protest to crash the GOP, right? And we were protesting for Mumia Abu-Jamal and all this shit. I was with a bunch of young white kids with blonde dreadlocks. And so I met my first vegan, at this protest. I met a kid named Paco, Mexican kid who was a big Che Guevara fan. And we were all just a bunch of young people protesting. We crashed the Republican convention and we had picket signs and everything. We stayed at a house that someone was nice enough to let us crash in. I wore boxers to sleep and there was like a room of 8 of us. And I wake up to like snickering, like people like laughing. And my penis was outside of my boxes. And it wasn't very flattering because I have a whack resting dick. Like my resting dick is whack. Like if I wore basketball shorts, it would look like a thimble.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen a lot of walnuts, You see just like a little, and just a tiny little nose.
And this girl named Layla who had a host of issues that we won't talk about because it's irrelevant towards the story. But I'll give her this. One of her qualities, one of her strengths, that she was very honest. So 4 months later, we met her for coffee or something, and she was smoking a cigarette. And she goes, I didn't realize you had such a small penis. We saw your penis when you... That's what she told me. She was like, you have a really small penis. And she looked at me right, I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, me and Finn, that was another girl's name, Finn, said, we saw your penis when you were sleeping in that Philadelphia apartment. I was like, what do you mean you saw my penis? She's like, remember you were sleeping on a cot? So your penis was out, it was very small. And then like the rest of the conversation, I was trying to convince her that, when I sleep, it's not what it's really like. It was resting as well. You believe me, right? Like,
Why would anyone say that?
Yeah, she said it so calmly. She went, you have a really small penis. I'm like, what? I like spit out my core. Like, there was no segue. There was no reason to bring that up 4 months later.
And you're still thinking about it 20 years later.
I'm still thinking about it. This is 20 years later, 22 years later.
I've never had that. I've never had a penis slip. I do feel like I've had a couple of vagina slips because I don't wear underwear. So I just like, and I sit like a dude all the time. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm wearing a skirt. I forgot.
Why don't you wear underwear? Is this uncomfortable?
It is uncomfortable.
So you just go, you just free. You're just
Yeah.
free.
Super uncomfortable. Free out there doing their own thing. So uncomfortable. I do not know how people wear thongs.
Oh, so yeah. I mean, it's all up your ass and shit.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about like getting older, right? So I'll walk around naked now.
Yeah, me too.
Before I always had to be in a certain place to like feel confident. I was just like, whatever.
Okay, so you're on the road. You're with Chris. Are you walking around naked?
No, not around Chris. I'm talking about around my wife.
Oh, just your wife?
I wouldn't do that. That was a long time I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't walk around naked. That shit just happened like 2 weeks ago.
Wow, such growth.
Right. I mean, I'm with Chris this weekend. We're at the Miami. Well, we're at the Dania Improv in like Miami, Florida, and he's bringing his girlfriend's aunt, who's a transgender person, and that should be interesting. She has spent a lot of time in jail. Supposedly went down on David Berkowitz. Gave David Berkowitz a blowjob. So collectively, this person, who I've never met before, her name, is Titi Jerry, and spent like 25 years in the prison system and is out. But
what did she do?
Mostly drug offenses. Oh. Got kind of lost in the system. How funny is this? Right? Check this shit out. Hear me out, Mara. So I learned about Titi Jerry through Chris and his podcast. He has snippets of the podcast. I'm like, wow, this seems very interesting. She's telling her story about being locked up in prison, being locked up with Tupac. By the way, happy birthday to me. I came out the closet for my birthday and I got a Tupac tattoo.
When did you get this Tupac tattoo?
Like last week. So check it out.
It was your birthday?
Yeah, September 11th. It would be September 11th.
September 11th.
Yeah. Wait, I don't want to go off track. So Titi Jerry is on Chris's podcast. I learned that spent some time with David, was in the same prison as David Berkowitz, gave David Berkowitz a blowjob, was locked up with Tupac, like celebrities, all right? The whole deal. I then get a call from my co-host to my new podcast, Derek Drescher. We're starting a new podcast called the POP, Picking Off Punches, Sound Lounge, Be Frank. It's going to be ill. It's going to be funky. It's going to be gritty. A lot of fun. So check it out. Derek has spent time in prison. He tells me, yo, how does Chris know J-Lo? I'm like, who? He's like, yeah, that's Titi Jerry. In prison, we called her J-Lo. He knows Titi Jerry. Never been locked up in the same actual prison at the same time, but Titi Jerry was known as J-Lo in the prison and is notorious.
Oh my.
Yeah, like they know her. Highly respected. Will cut the shit out of a motherfucker for popping shit. Has stabbed, beat motherfuckers up. I mean, she probably had it really bad, a transgender person in prison, you know.
Oh
and
gosh.
So her story is wild, but really has a sweetheart, a good heart, has been through the ringer. Yeah, she'll be rolling with us in Miami. It's like the real Mauricio Rodriguez.
I saw the phone call to the parole officer to get the permission to go down there.
Wait, say that again?
She had to get permission from her parole officer to go
that
down.
or I'm blowing up her spot.
No, Chris had to call and get permission for her.
Oh, you know this?
Yes. Yes.
So you're up, you're following. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so this is not radically new to you.
No, also because I like to know the dirt. I'm like, is Chris married? Because he calls her his wife.
Yeah, like, so I said girlfriend. They might be engaged. I forget.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's just too many labels on it. He calls his girlfriend wife. Vinny, her name is Jasmine. I get confused by it all. They're family though. You know, I know Jazz. I love the kids, you know, and it's awesome. But I never met Titi Jerry, which by the way is Titi Jerry, not Titi. Him and Homeless Pimp say Titi. It's very white of them. Titi. Fucking Titi. You gotta put a little in there. So yeah, it should be fun, man. I don't know if she's ever been to Florida, but I'm rolling with her. And I think she's gonna do guest spots on the show. I'm not sure how how it's gonna work, but
I
maybe
think she would be, if you could reel her in with I think she'd be a great host.
Yeah, I have no idea how it's going down. But if
Have you ever worked there?
at the Dania Improv?
In Miami and at the Improv?
I've been to Miami. I worked the Miami Improv, but never the Dania Improv. This is like Fort Lauderdale, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Miami, I worked there once, and every comic that wasn't working, this is gonna be inside baseball and Marsha's gonna hate it, but whatever. Every comic that wasn't on stage had to go out into the crowd, ask each table to just keep it down a little bit. Those Cubanos love to chit chat during the comedy show.
I mean, I gotta tell you, my experience has been great. I find Floridians to be very jovial. Like they're fun. Like, but I done shows that were very much tailored to what they want to see. Like I went with Giannis, and he actually had the transgender character Marisa.
Yeah.
He brought her out, that character. So people knew the character, so they were very much in tune. But there was that kind of feel like they want to be part of the show, a lot of it, but it's very interactive. So I haven't had an experience where I thought they were chit-chatty, but I've heard. I personally haven't had that experience. I've been there 4 times over, but I've heard that could be like that. So we'll see.
Yeah, I just worked with like a weekend headliner that wasn't like brought in for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I can see that. Yeah. There's a lot of drugs and partying out there. You know how many times fucking people threw me coke and I gotta fucking slip that shit like George Bush when he got the shoe thrown at him? That's fucking seriously, like people throw cocaine at me. I'm like, I don't do that anymore, motherfucker. Stop it. Now people don't know. I fucking stepped up my game. I don't do coke anymore. People need to understand. I do heroin. Okay? I done stepped it up. Grade A heroin, guys.
Is that a B12 shot?
This is actually antibiotics for my hognose snake.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, so, you see that?
Hi.
Yeah. So he had a little infection in his mouth, so he was on.
How did you know?
His mouth was ajar. I love to use that word. Any chance I get, I use it. Ajar. And it was swollen, a little bit of pus. So I went to my exotic animal vet, and I've been administrating some antibiotics.
How do you do that?
I'll do it right now.
Okay.
So what you do is, you got to get in between the scales, right? You don't want to control the snake too much. You want to kind of let them be, right? So you take that out, and you go underneath the scale. First third of their body,
you just
right?
Reusing a needle, like.
And there you go, and.
Like you didn't just give it AIDS right there.
And that's it. And that's his last shot.
Isn't it weird how your dad and your snake are going to die of AIDS?
Sure, you have experiences with syringes, Sergio. Your father was a heroin addict who died of AIDS. I actually never saw my father use heroin, but I once saw my friend's father. This is how it went down. I was like 7 years old. We were playing Nintendo when it first came out in a project apartment, loud music. And I remember his father had a real gruff voice. Mm-hmm. He's like, kids, don't turn around. Don't turn around. And we're playing video games when Mario first came out on Nintendo. Yeah, like the very first one, like 1986.
Yeah.
1987. And he said, don't turn around. And there's fucking loud Spanish music blasting. And I turned around and I remember seeing one of these and someone's fucking
not him, but
yeah, like it's one of his friends. And I turned around real quick. I was like, yeah.
There was a comedian that we interviewed on my previous show that I met you on, and I had never seen anyone on heroin before. I thought that this guest was dying. I was like, do we call an ambulance? It was crazy.
Wait, you had him on the show? On here?
Yeah, he took it. Like we showed up. We went to his apartment in Jersey. We show up. He says, go ahead and get all set up right here. So we start setting up. No one's paying attention to what he's doing. He goes, shoots up, comes back, sits down, and he starts shaking violently back and forth. He falls over, sits up. We do a whole like as soon as we go, okay, we're ready. He puts his headset on like a pro. Like he is a wide awake, 100%. Then we're done. We wrap. He takes the headset off, slouches over, then sits back up, goes, leave whenever you want, walks away. He's got a shit stain up his pants and up all the way up his shirt. I
Ah,
was like, oh my God. And then we got in the car and they were like, that was heroin. I was like, we should have done an intervention. We shouldn't have done a show. It was a great show though.
well, Artie Lang is very funny.
Oh, you know who I was talking
about? Wild guess. I had no idea, but I figured a pro heroin user who's fucking hilarious will deliver, you know, that was a guess.
Dude, it was crazy.
I read his book. Well, I read a couple of his books, and he tells a story on how he was, you know, in the midst of getting high, and he was on a small private plane that fit, like the type of plane that La Bamba dies on, the type of plane that Aaliyah dies on.
Ricky!
Yeah. That type of shit. He was on a small ass plane, getting high, and he took a heroin shit. So can you imagine, Mara? He's shitting on himself in the comfort of his own home during the podcast when he go to the bathroom. He shat on the plane bathroom, and he said that it smelled like dead animals. And everybody in the plane was like so pissed off. And he's just like in shame, you know.
Dude, one time I have never done heroin, I don't think, but I don't know.
Molly, you've done heroin.
I know, that's what I was like, except for Molly, except for ecstasy. Right? Ecstasy has a lot of shit in it because there's the low of ecstasy. Then that's probably the heroin part, and then all of a sudden you're like, see you later, I'm going back up.
All the way up.
Then I'm coming all the way back down again. One of my bosses, when I used to be a bartender in New York, used to love to give us key bumps and bumps, like full lines, just cut them up on the bar, in the back bar, in the service bar. And one night I just had a great time with it. It was like my first time ever doing blow at work. And then as soon as we closed the bar, like I left with all the customers. I didn't shut down. I didn't clean up. I just was like,
I mean, did you at least pull the gate down?
No.
You just left the bar open at 4:00 in the morning. La 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 la.
See you later.
Let's get a taxi. Let's walk.
Should we try to go to an after party?
Fuck, man, that's hilarious.
I know. I called my boss because you don't get good sleep on coke. So I woke up like 3 hours later and I go, why am I home? Fuck, did I close the bar?
Oh, shit.
And then I called him and he's like, it was my fault. It was my fault. I closed the bar for you. I was like, thank you.
Damn, that's wild.
Wild. He was laughing so hard. He's like, you didn't close the register. You didn't wash one bottle. You left all the fruit out. You just went by. And we were like, is she really leaving?
That is wild. I mean, you know, it was even, I mean, when we talk about coke, like we think of shit like that we've done. But did you hear, I mean, we never think of coke being cut up with some dangerous shit. Yo, recently 3 comics died of coke overdose, but they found fentanyl in it. That's crazy. Yeah. They were like our age, and all 3 of them. I don't know these people personally.
I do know Fu. I did know Fu. I started comedy with Fu. Like we started at the same mics at this shitty little house that we used to. The nicest, most supportive. As soon as I saw the post, I was like, no. There's no.
I mean, that is super scary and tragic. I mean, all 3 of them, him and like 2 others, and then one other is still hospitalized.
Kate
Quigley.
Yeah, she's going out with Darius Rucker.
What you said?
She's going out with Darius Rucker.
Who's that? He's an athlete?
No, he's not a one-hit wonder anymore, but he used to be a one-hit wonder way back in the day. He's God, I wish we.
You don't even know who the fuck he is.
I do. He just did an interview with Smartless. He was around when we were young, but I was like in suburbs listening to music. You were in Lower East Side trying to stay alive. Yeah. Anyway,
I mean, that shit is crazy. That shit is crazy, and you hear about it time and time again. It's like the 3rd story I've heard.
I've had 2 friends die. My cousin died of laced drugs that he didn't even know he was doing. Like he thought he was just smoking weed, and it was coke or fentanyl laced weed. And the
Who
guy,
does that? Why would you lace weed like that? You know what? It's probably K2, which is it's not real weed, but it's
oh maybe. So
it's
he
fucking
does.
poison.
So he does one little puff, pass it back, croaks. The guy drives him, puts him in his own car because he was in somebody else's car, puts my cousin in his car, drives him to the emergency room, leaves him underneath the emergency room thing to die, like to die. And just
Damn.
bounces. The guy's on video. Like he went to jail forever, but isn't that nuts? That was last year.
Listen, if you guys want to live happily never after, make sure that if you're a recreational drug user, figure out how to get that shit tested and just do it, especially during this time. You must do it. I know that ruins the fun and it's not spontaneous or whatever, but it's fucking worth it, man. Figure out how to test it because people are desperate out in COVID. They fucking cutting shit out. The market is probably at a drought. So if you're going to use drugs, and that's the thing, people are going to use drugs, try to take those steps necessary. Make sure there's no fentanyl in it, whatever the fuck you got to do. I don't put, condone drug use. It's dirtbag, but people are going to do it. My advice, if you're going to fucking do it, at least you got to test it. If you're going to do it at a festival, try to get that shit tested because you'll go out quick fast.
I honestly don't think that there's any good drugs right now. So I think everybody should just chill out just for a little bit.
But people are going to do drugs. People are never going to chill out. There's always going to be rampant drug use. There's always going to be there's no controlling it, I think.
I know.
Is that a pessimistic attitude? I just think if people are going to do it, try to do it the safest way possible and deal with, hopefully you don't die. But people are going to do it. I mean,
if somebody barks about paying for a test because it's $100 for one of those tester kits, but they're reusable. Like you can use them again and again. I don't know how I know this information, but but just get the test. You're already spending $200 on blow. Like just spend another $100 and get the test and then use it over and over.
It'd be fucking annoying though, right? If you get the test and your coke does have fentanyl in it, you're like, is this thing right? I don't trust these kits.
I would do it right in front of the dealer. I'd be like, nah, son, we're doing this together. This is you and me.
You know what, man? Drug dealers who are fucking super savvy should have their clients come through, test it in front of them, be like, listen,
yeah,
we're bumping up the price because I'm testing this right in front of you. So instead of X amount a gram, it's $30 taxed on top of it, but you got safe drugs. Tell your friends, here's my card. Here's my QR code.
Meet Sergio underneath the fruit tree in the park.
Right. For real.
Dude, somebody made a comment the other day. They're like, notice it's only Black people dying from it. And I was like, nah, my cousin was definitely white. And a guest that we had on earlier at the beginning of COVID, her ex-boyfriend died of a fentanyl issue also. It happens quick.
It happens quick, fast. Yeah, that shit.
Yeah.
They say it's a very small amount that'll put your ass out. And my stepdaughter, she's a police officer. She said that they train like cops on how to if they do a fentanyl bust, how you gotta wear. What do you call those fucking like a
hazmat?
Hazmat suit.
What did you call a hazmat?
A hazmat suit, like a hazmat suit, because you'll start coughing too. Like it's that fucking intense.
Yeah. My brother-in-law works with anthrax vaccine, and just to go in, they test it's microscopic how much they have on a thing, and they have to go in full gear. You have to go in through these 3 washes and then these 3 washes to come back out. And I'm like, holy shit. Remember when anthrax was a thing, when people were mailing anthrax?
Yeah. That shit lasted for 2 months before something else came up. There's always gonna be something.
I know. Remember when there was that shooter in DC that was just shooting people getting gasoline?
Yeah, he was working with his son too. They were doing that shit together. They were hide in the trunk of their cars and shoot through their license plate.
Dude, people think this pandemic is tough. We had to live through getting shot at the gas station.
Yeah,
that was crazy. Those were crazy times.
I mean, we had a couple of interesting ones. Remember the Unabomber? He lived in a fucking 2 hut. We had the Unabomber. The Zodiac Killer. He would go up to people, ask you a sign, And if he wasn't feeling Pisces that day, pow!
Dude, I don't believe in signs anyway. Do you?
They're fun.
Oh my God.
They're fun. You know, I like to
Such a
think of myself
chick.
as a Virgo, a naked woman with a spear, you know, who's creative but moody. It's
I had somebody go, because I was just talking to him and he was like, oh, we get along. What sign are you? I was like, I get along because I'm mirroring your attitude and behavior. It's not because I'm a Libra, okay? With the
yeah.
Venus rising or whatever it is.
You ruined all the fun for him.
I know. I was like, get out of here with that faggotry.
You start calling him a hack? You fucking hack.
Meanwhile, it's like my boss.
Have you done any stand-up out in Texas?
I
would
haven't.
imagine not. You're settling in. It's a new home. You're settling in. You're not doing any stand-up now.
I have not yet, but Moon Tower is next week here. So I was kind of hoping to fly home and record with you in person next week. I don't know what you're doing, but I can be there Thursday and Friday. So maybe we can get some in-person time together, but then I'm going to fly back and go to Moon Tower, the comedy festival.
Oh, dope.
So yeah, I came up with a new concept for a joke because I was getting my nails done. And you know how women, like, we have a tough time accepting compliments? Like, you probably can't accept one either because, you know, you're kind of feminine.
I just say thank you, but it's a little uncomfortable depending on what the compliment is. Like when someone says, yeah, certain compliments fucking bug me out. I'd rather not, but you know, just go,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Like if Lola and Finn had been like, you have a nice resting dick, you'd be like,
no, I think I would like that compliment. Because that's an original compliment. But when someone's complimenting you just to be nice, that's a little like you feel it, but you don't want to be a dick and say, no, you're just being nice. But you don't know them that well, so you can't tell them to fuck off. So that could be weird. Like, because you're very funny. I'm like,
oh, good. Yeah.
Well,
I was getting my nails done the other day, and the lady was like doing that little scrub on your legs. And she goes, you have such smooth skin, such smooth, soft baby skin, except for right here. It's very rough and disgusting. And I was like,
you didn't say disgusting.
And then she kept calling me babe on top of it. I was like, that was a real compliment because she was very honest about the back part of my foot.
So you got an ashy ass heel.
I wear tennis shoes all day.
It's okay. It's fine. I got bunions.
You do?
And my bunions were on fire after my 18-mile run last week. On fire.
Look at you dropping in that you did an 18-miler. How come you don't? Yeah. How come you don't post that? Because you go slow as fuck?
No, I don't go that slow. I did 18 miles in 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's not bad.
Right. Okay.
Yo, I'm not looking forward to being in Florida and running 20 miles on Saturday morning.
Wait, what? What race are you running?
The marathon on November 7th.
Oh yeah, because you got in with that.
Yo, I used to
janky ass in.
Yeah, I used to have connections with drugs. Now I have connections with marathon bibs. Things done change, baby. But you know what? It's all part of the journey, right? No one wants to fucking run when they're out doing gigs, but I figured if I could get through this mentally, the actual race would be a breeze. Because I don't want to run in.
If you can get through 20, you're good.
Yeah, but also get through 20 in Florida. Like, I don't fucking want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday to run 3 hours. But I will do it, and I'll feel amazing.
But it's getting cooler now. It's dropped like 10 degrees.
And DD Jerry would be like, oh my God, I can't believe you ran that far.
Oh God, how sweaty you is. Let me help you. Let me wipe some of that off of you. Let me get you something to drink.
Yeah, no, let me get you something to drink.
I did the first marathon I did, the longest distance that I ran before I even completed it was like 14 miles. And then I was like, fuck it, I got it.
That's cute. So you ran the marathon?
I've run a few.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck,
I used to be an endurance athlete back in the day. This is like 20 years ago.
I was hoping I had that on you. Like, yeah, you can do it.
Are you kidding? I've done Ironmans. Grow up, son.
So what does an Ironman entail? So it's a
2.4 mile swim, 116 on the bike.
Yeah. Biking and then
a full marathon.
A full marathon.
You do 116 miles on the bike, and then you jump off of the bike and you do 26.2.
Wow, you did that shit.
Yeah. And I used to be a coach for the Puerto Rico Ironman.
Fuck, that's dope, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm running this. You haven't given me one fucking tip. Fuck you.
I was like, can you get me a bib? And you're like, nah. And I was like, all right, deuces. Run on your own, bitch.
I can't, man. I barely got one myself. Did you really want a bib?
I would have done it.
You would have. I like the way you use this now. I'll see what I can, I'll just jump into it.
Why not? It's just 26 miles.
I mean, that's it. I mean, why? That's it. See, I'm gonna judge people who do that. Why would you do that?
I know. You know what? Honestly, after every single time I did it, I'd go, I'm not doing this again.
You didn't have time for nothing. You walking around with a bush. You could have even shaved the privates and trimmed them out. Your heel was fucked up. You walk around with a bush. Yeah, your eyebrows or unibrow like Frida Kahlo. You don't have time for anything when you're training like that.
I look like a mess all the time.
I'm joking, but I'm not playing. That's the way I feel, though. Like, you get so busy that you just start, like...
Just giving up on things.
You start neglecting shit. Like, I got to run again. So I can only imagine when you got to do all that. And then you probably had, like, 15 jobs.
Yeah, I was training a lot. And I had to swim a lot, so I had to keep that bush in check. Every day, just the outside lip. Just a little trim. Keep those spider legs from reaching out, touching other people. One time I was when I was dating George, my last boyfriend, we went to go hang out at the ocean. I was like, what? Where were we? The ocean, the beach. And I was wearing a swimsuit and I had one long, weird, stray ass hair to the left of my vaginal region, and it was so long, and I sat down. I was like, it was so far over, but it was definitely a pubic hair. And I was laying there, and his brothers are like introducing themselves, and I looked down and was like, fuck. And so I flipped over, and I'm laying on the sand, and I just started trying to dig at it with my fingers, try to grab it, but every time I would pull, I would just make it curlier. So
here's some pink, pink. Like you're pulling a fucking guitar string.
Finally, I was just like, George, pull this out.
No way.
Yeah.
You sure it just wasn't one of your hairs? Like
it was
on your head?
No, I'm very blonde. So my hair down there is a little darker. And that matched the coarseness and the texture and the...
that is strange. It's a straight hair.
Yeah. Because girls get it like they'll all of a sudden have their beautiful nipples, they're all free and clear, and then all of a sudden a 6-foot long hair is sticking out of it. You're like, where the fuck did that come from? And you're like sitting there pulling it out.
Yeah, if it's long and straight, it's probably there since birth. Like it was probably one that was just a resilient one that's been there, very fine.
No, I mean, the women, I wish that we had call-ins at this point, but you will look down at your nipples and be like, we're good. Like every single day.
Some women have hairy nipples.
But they probably take care of it.
I don't know. I got my lip tickled before. I definitely was on some titties, pulled back, and I was like, yep, tickle my lip. My lips are very sensitive. Yep, definitely had it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I didn't mind
more than one time. Was it like baby hair?
She had and I never told her anything about it. She knew.
Yeah, you could see your boobs.
Yeah, she didn't address it, so I was like, whatever.
I feel like everybody has that baby hair all over, but not like.
There was one long one she missed, and I couldn't bring myself to tell her, hey, can we take care of that? Can we not? Yeah, can we not? Man, I'm in no position. I walk around with bunions and a whack resting dick. Who the fuck am I? I'm flatulent. Like, come on. Like, really, I'm very aware. You know?
When are we going to hear the first episode of this POP?
Well, it should be. So Marshall has been amazing with finding guests. So POP is going to highlight a boxing figure, whether that be a coach, an actual fighter, and hopefully have them out for like a 15-minute segment. And then we're going to break down the life of that person. We're going to have fun with it. It's going to be loose. And it should be fun. And then we're going to start recording hopefully by next week. And then start dispensing episodes. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, so how come I haven't received an email from you and Derek on what you guys are supposed
because
to do?
You're too busy. So it's been between me and Marshall and Derek. But anytime you want to be included, but we just figured, I know personally, I just figured that you're way, like, I feel like there's a lot going on. I don't want to bother you with any of that, especially because I have Marshall's attention with that shit. So I figured he was just giving you the rundown with all that stuff.
I haven't been. That was very kind of you. That was very. I do feel like our network, we're very like, if you're busy or if you need something in life, we're here for you. Go for it. Take that time.
In the beginning, when it was pitched, it was not what was needed. But I figured, you know what? Let me not bother. This is it's creating its own rhythm. We haven't even recorded yet, so we're just getting all the administrative stuff tight. And it's I'm confident it's going to be a good one and work. So I honestly didn't want to bother you with it. It's a lot of emails. I can barely keep up because it's a lot of emails.
Well, this is your first year. This is your first year using. That's what I was going to say.
Mara takes credit. Has to take credit for me replying to all.
David and my first wedding anniversary was yesterday.
Oh, that's adorable.
I know, isn't it cute?
Yeah.
And
he looks cool as hell, Dave.
Yeah, he is.
I met him via Zoom, your boyfriend, via Zoom shortly, but I got a good energy, a good vibe from him for the 30 seconds we spoke.
Yeah, this whole move together has been...
Keep up the good work, guys. Keep up the good work.
It hasn't been...
my bad, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm such a fan. We talk this dirtbag shit, but I'm such a fan of love and sacrifice for that and connection, like two people supporting each other. It's the dopest thing. And if people could grow from that, it's and evolve from that together, it's fucking dope. So I'm happy for you guys.
He's adorable. I almost murdered him a couple times in the car on the way down. And a lot of times when we're here, he takes Ambien, so he does like crazy shit that he has no idea about. And
he has a hard time falling asleep, or is he weaning off of heroin?
He has a hard time falling asleep.
he just likes the feel of heroin, but very mild.
It's like a mild, like a light heroin light. So
there's no joke. That little ass pill will put you on your ass, and you gotta make sure you get the 8 hours sleep, because if not, then you're fucking groggy. And if you had a drink the night before, you can't fuck around with that shit with anything else, because then you feel like you're playing catch up all the time.
Well, last night he made nachos on the floor. I woke up, there's all these little chip crumbs everywhere. I was like, what did you do? He eats so much in the middle of the night. He makes stuff. He builds things when he's just off in la la, like he has no recollection of it. He came to bed and he goes, I cut my fingers. And I go, what were you doing? And he goes, I don't know. Like he's fully missing his middle finger nail. Like it's all black and blue. And I thought he was missing a finger. Fingernail. Just from last night, from building something while he was on Ambien. And then he cut the end of his ring finger bad. And I was like, I go, what were you doing? And he's like, no idea. Like, holy shit, you can be that out of it?
Fuck.
I know.
Is this like sleepwalking? Like Mike Birbiglia?
Yeah. Birbiglia.
Welcome to the Chicone Show. Well, you have to guess what Sergio's actually saying.
Today's word is xylophone. Can Sergio say it? Everyone drink if he doesn't get it right.
I want to be fucked up. Birbiglia. That's right. Birbiglia.
Yeah, Mike Birbiglia.
Yeah.
We should have him on as a guest. Okay, so what are you doing? Are you in town next week? What's your travel schedule? So you're with Chris this weekend.
Yeah, so I'm proud to announce that I have a website that's up, fully running, and it's pretty fucking dope. I got everything under one umbrella. SergioChicone.com, podcast, training, comedy show calendar, all you need.
You know,
So
had you sent this to me before this episode, I could have, and I guess I
I
can put it on
know.
there now. I could link it on our Be Frank network. You just
Yeah, it just
click
got
on your
done like
picture.
last week. It just got done like last week, so I'll send you that.
Congrats! I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, moving forward.
Big things are happening. I wonder if any of these big football players know any boxing people. I can ask. It's all one
Yeah,
world.
even in Texas, there's a lot of good. There's a woman named Ann Wolf that she lives in Texas. I mean, I know Texas is huge. I mean, she may not be. She could be like 12 hours from you, but she's from Texas. She used to train a fighter named Kirkland, James Kirkland. We're trying to get her on the show, and Marshall's not able. It hasn't been able to pin her down. But she was a gritty, fighter who has an interesting story, and we want to get her on. So if you know anybody, any native Texans who may know Ann Wolf, man, that'd be a dope connection.
If any of our listeners know Ann Wolf or a connection to Ann Wolf also, give us a shout. Or if you know any good boxing information, reach out. We need it.
We want you guys to be a part of it as much as possible.
So that's awesome. Okay, so that's going to come up and that will be on Be Frank Network. Make sure to listen to DBS Podcast. And I'll see you in person next week.
Perfect. We'll do Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday. We're going to have guests because I don't want to talk to you that much. You know what I mean?
We'll figure it out. Good seeing you, boo.
Good seeing you too. All right. Love you guys. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Later.